Hey, it's Chris Duncan, Master on the Arcanum, and I'm here with Allison Russell, and she just completed Sphere Zeros, moving into Sphere 1, and one of the things we like to do is in her Challenge 11, as far as being part of Sphere 1, is she gets to be Master for the week and post challenges, and maybe we'll show the challenge, maybe we can screen share and she can show the challenge she posted, and not sure who's all replied to that yet. But she also gets to have a critique with me. So I uploaded 3 images for her to give feedback on. And I chose some competition images, which we'll talk about a little bit, probably doing this too. Alice and I both compete in print competition. And so I thought this would be an interesting feedback for her, especially since her district just hosted their competition. And I know she watched some of the live streaming and got to see some of the images and hear some of the feedback from the judges. So anyway, we will hand it over to Allison. This is her show today. So
exciting. All right. I will go ahead and screen share now then, Chris. Yes?
Yes, sure.
Okay.
Did I?
Yay, Virginia's here.
I'm here. I don't know if I did this right. Am I here?
You're here. She just posted, I'm trying to figure this out, but don't know, and then she pops up. So I guess she figured it out.
Yeah, I'm still not sure I'm smart enough. Can you see me?
You are smart enough.
We can hear you and can see your little icon on the top of your.
Got it.
Are you on a computer? There you go.
I got it.
Yay.
Hi. Hi. How's everybody doing? How are you guys doing?
Oh, it's so good to see you.
You too. Congratulations. This is super cool.
It's intense.
You're intense.
Yeah, but this is a little intense and scary at the same time. All right. Well, Chris already introduced us, and I can't see you when I'm doing the screen share.
Okay.
I think you guys can only see my screen, right, Chris?
That's correct.
All right. But we're going to go through the 3 images that Chris posted and do a critique / discussion. I don't know. Critique is pretty broad term here in this situation. So, Chris, first, let's start out with I see Ron Clifford is talking to us or something.
Well, he's in our community, so he's just saying he can't make it.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. Chris, let's just start out. Tell us about how you decided which images to submit for this discussion.
Well, I kind of said this in the introduction. We're in different districts as far as print competition, and I know you just had yours last weekend, I believe, and ours is coming up next week, but our deadline was yesterday, actually. So I was working on some competition images, and I know you entered the last competition, and we kind of had discussions about it, so I wanted to do a few of my competition prints.
Sounds good. Well, let's start with your waterfall image. Will you tell us your titles on these two?
Sure. This is Downstream.
Awesome. I love the whole using the title to answer a question on why the bear is sort of a secondary focal point. So cool. Okay, so tell us about how you set this up and what was your intent? What did you want the viewer to? What were you communicating to the viewer?
I don't know what I was trying to communicate. I guess trying to take them to what I thought was a beautiful spot. So we did this in Yellowstone at Find Your Focus, and my competitions, I like to do stuff that I usually photograph. Very rarely do I go out and create something for competition, although I have done that in the past. And sometimes when you're trying to narrow down and decide what should I enter, I kind of fall back on stuff that I like, that kind of speaks to me, and hopefully it'll speak to the judges and another viewer, but that's yet to be determined. So.
And so Do you shoot quite a bit of landscape, Cris, besides when you're doing the Find Your Focus workshop? Refresh my memory on this. You do commercial though.
Well, that's my main time to really get out and do it. But there are other times we'll take little trips or vacations, and I like to do that kind of stuff. So I live in Lubbock, Texas, so the landscape here isn't what I would call nearly as intriguing as other parts of the country. Although when people come here, they do see their own beauty. I guess we don't appreciate what's in our backyard as much. So.
No, we don't. But South Dakota is pretty flat in my area, so I don't have this kind of. This is harder to find this kind of thing too.
Yeah, the only waterfall we have here is after a rain when it goes into the gutter. That's about it.
Golly.
There's probably a park somewhere near you that has something.
So,
Well, I love how the eye starts in the upper left with that foggy area, and then you follow the waterfall down all the way through diagonally to the right lower corner of the image. So it's like a gentle breeze leading you down the waterfall. Virginia, feel free to jump in too if you have anything to add. The bear, I didn't even see him at first, but then the downstream sort of causes you to look further for him. Cris, this is hard. I love the movement of the water. What shutter speed were you shooting? Do you remember? It's cool.
I don't remember. Probably 2 seconds or something. Probably. So.
I love the framing of the tree on the right side to keep you from going out of the image over there. Oh, it's really beautiful. I can see it like in somebody's lodge, cabin, home, vacation.
The colors are great too. I love the contrast of the color with the very white water, and then you sort of have that dark earth behind, and the colors really pop from it.
I agree. And still having the detail in the water, but it's very clearly like that bright white.
That was tough to get.
And I have a question, Cris.
Exposure?
Say that again?
Is it
go ahead.
Go, Virginia, you're up.
No, I was going to say go ahead, because yours might lead to what my question was as well.
Is it one exposure, Cris?
Yes.
So then my question was, if you're shooting at 2 seconds, how was the bear crisp with the motion in the waterfall?
The bear is very crisp. The bear wasn't there.
The bear is magic.
Okay.
The bear is magic, yes.
What do you call it? Romancing?
Yes, that's a good term, yes.
Oh, she's a good student. Wow.
Yes. So, any critique? I don't need my back padded here.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the only thing I would say is that the waterfall, the right waterfall with that lightness, it's somewhat stealing the show for me. I wish the bear was a tiny bit more prevalent because I almost lose him. But is the waterfall the focal point? So I don't know. That would be my only thing, is I lose the bear a little bit, which the water is white. It's white. So how do you keep that from, it's going to be the lightest part of the image. Because I like the bottom water, how it's just a little bit softer. But Cris, I feel like an amateur. I feel like the critiques I would come up with might be wrong, so.
No, that's the whole part of this exercise is.
Okay, well, the waterfalls in the middle are just a tiny bit overpowering for me if I was going to say anything, even though I think it's gorgeous.
Okay.
You don't need your back padded. Well, you're not going to submit stuff that's crummy that has all kinds of things that need to be fixed.
I have before.
Oh, okay.
Not intentionally, though.
Nice. Oh, well, that was not right now. So that's not, maybe that was years ago.
So, a little background on this is there's two categories for competition. There's the artist and then the open. Open can be like any image. Artist, you don't have to, but it's recommended you're judged more on how you put images together using the computer or with finishing skills. And so I started this last year, and it ended up being about 4 gig file and had probably 87 layers in it. I got really frustrated and put it on the shelf. And this year I decided just to push myself and try an artist case. So the images you see on the left are some of the images I used to create what you see on the right. And this is called Rapunzel Ventures Out.
I love the light direction, how it all just is flowing. It seems believable that it's hitting the mountains from the side. It's like sunset. The flow of the hair and the fact that you can make the hair do that in Photoshop, pretty amazing. The light on this I'm not, like, from a light perspective, I'm not sure how the light is so bright here, but not on these trees right here. Is it fire?
No, that's the waterfall.
It's like point. It's being, yeah, okay. Like mist from the falling water.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I guess I'll just start just throwing out words here and you can just take it or leave it, okay? And tell me, Allison, I'm never doing a trick with you ever again. So, like, I feel like it's bright and then it doesn't fall off gradually, or I don't know. Something's a little, like, disjointed for me right there. And then, whoa, I don't know how to do that. Wow, my mouse was doing that. Okay, sorry for the roller coaster ride there. I wish this hair followed, I'm assuming it goes around the tower, right?
Yes.
I wish it followed down like it, because we know the hair is probably not going up. Gravity would be pulling it down. I wish it started here and kind of followed that flow around the tower here. So cool. I think your transition here would have been better down here. I don't know. I feel that this is hard.
No,
I don't want to be a master ever again.
That's a good point.
But the fact that you put all this together is just, I don't even know where you would begin with something like this, Cris. Wow. I just want to do a one-shot exposure and submit that for a print competition. Jeez.
Yeah, I felt, I felt good about her and posing her and making her look believable on that little prop in my studio.
She does.
Yeah, but trying to get it together was pretty tough. That's a good point about the hair. I went back and forth on that hair, and that was its own file. It was just the hair, because it ended up really slowing down my system trying to work on it with other layers. So I had to do the hair by itself. And once I did the hair and I pulled it in there, I was, maybe that was something I need to revisit, is trying to move that down, because there's now I see that little corner of light between where the hair comes and the mountaintop starts, and that kind of pulls me there. And and once you see something, you can't unsee it. So right. That's a good point. So dang it.
I think she's very believable though, and I love how you whatever you did to the stone to make it look like it was lichen covered or moss, or it really flows with the feel of the forest versus what your raw was.
Oh, yeah, and I had to recreate the tower underneath. That was a bit tricky. So
it looks great.
But that's a good point on that hair. You probably that probably keeps me out of merit category now that I see it. Dad nabbit. I should have done this before the deadline.
I'm sorry. That would have been last week. Oh, or Monday or Sunday or something.
Monday, right.
And then when would you have had time to work on it, Cris? Seriously.
Yeah.
That's not a one and done change, is it?
Probably not, because after I get it kind of where I want it and I get all the layers together, then I have to start toning it. And I have to tone it as one single image.
Right.
And so it affects the hair and the tower and the bottom of her dress and all of that. So yeah, I'd be removing all of that toning, and yeah, it wouldn't be that would not be a quick fix. Not that it can't be done, it just wouldn't be a quick fix.
So you don't have to feel bad about not seeing it 2 days ago.
That's right. It's always next year.
There's always IPC.
That's true. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, so I'm good at saying that. It's always next year.
Virginia, anything that you want to add for that one?
No, it's hard for me to see it in full too because I have this teeny tiny screen. So, but the little waterfall on the side, the lighting thing it does, I keep going there. I think it's a little bit too bright. It pulls me away from her. That just from seeing it on a smaller screen. And the little light that's in the archway, I have the same thing. Like I keep being pulled away from her face to that light and to the brightness of the waterfall. But again, that could be a factor of how small I'm seeing this on my screen and, what the actual image looks like.
It's interesting. I didn't even notice that light, but now that you say that, I see what you're saying about that. The candle.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think this is amazing.
I know.
It's a little side, and I don't even know how you. I mean, for me, part of what is so amazing is just having this concept, this vision of what you want to do here, and executing it. It's incredible to me.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I struggled with the candle when I lit her. If you look, it's hard to see on the bottom image, my guide image. I put a warm gel on her hair to show some definition. So when I built the tower, her hair was glowing, and she had that rim light on her. But I didn't have a light in the tower to justify why her hair was glowing. So I'm like, now I have to put. I felt like I had to put a light there to justify why she has light on her hair. So
I think it makes sense though, because you would theoretically have two different light sources in that case. I mean, two different light color, tones. Maybe just if it was brought down a little bit, I think it was a good choice.
So
and seeing it closer in like that, it's a different kind of experience from what I'm seeing of I have an image that's that big, so.
Right.
Immediate, I'm seeing these bright spots that are coming out at me. Anyway, so, but yeah, maybe if it's toned down a little bit, that would solve that piece for me.
And she was actually holding a piece of, we did one where she was holding a piece of, she's not in that image, but I had a piece of gold, silk cloth or fabric that we could drape, so I could kind of figure out how the hair would go. And then I said, okay, don't move. And then we yanked it out of her hands.
Oh, sure. To get that natural.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great. That's interesting.
So. And Allison, when you scroll around, just pause for a minute because it's a little slow loading. We see a bunch of pixels and then it takes a minute to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. If you're wanting to talk about it, just.
I was just looking at some of the transitions from the hair to the tower.
Yeah.
The fact that you recreated that. So, Cris, is this all like a photo, or do you use brushstroke things in this? I'm just curious for my own information. Do you use that brushstroke stuff in this? The hair really feels that way to me. So I was just curious from like a creation perspective, how you.
There was a little bit of technique on that. I mean, I used all the hair. If you zoom to see those source images, I had a curly hair and then a straight hair, and I layered them and had to warp them and blend them and do different blending modes and stuff. But when I transformed them so much to make it sweep and and have dimensionality and stuff, that I kind of, yeah, I almost had to do a technique on it to help blend it together. So,
Because otherwise you don't get that flowing feel, huh?
right, it was kind of choppy because it was the same segment manipulated different ways to try to. So,
How many images did you use for the background images?
just the one. If she goes to the full, that's Yosemite is the background. You can see it in the middle, and I flipped it to make the light direction work. And then I just put a different sky in it.
It's beautiful. It really is beautiful, Cris.
So, and then of course I had to build the tower beneath her. I have another piece of that set that doesn't have a hole in it, so I photographed that. But I had to try to make it look round.
Right.
I don't know if it looks very round or not, but
It does.
so, I will say this, I want it to merit, I'd be excited if it did, whether it does or not. I learned quite a bit just playing with it and spending this was probably I don't know, 8 to 10 hour project when it was all said and done. So I didn't do it all at once. I would do a piece and then go away and then do a piece and then come back to it and stuff. So
I can't believe that's it, Cris. It's like a lifetime for me.
But I did learn a lot through it, so it was fun. Maybe I should put my show my source files. You can see the hair. That was kind of neat. Allison, I lost audio from you.
I'm still here. I'm
Okay.
just looking. I'm just looking at this one. I love this one. This one's my favorite of your set, actually. How much do they zoom in when they're doing the print comp? How much can they zoom in?
They can't zoom in at all,
Okay.
but they see it on a 30-inch screen.
So they see a fair amount of detail then.
Oh, sure. Yes.
And they have like those high-tech monitors too, right?
Yes. But they can't zoom in and say, let's make sure her hair is sharp or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is nice though, because holy cow. Nothing would merit then. All right, I'm zooming back out then. So did you do brush strokes on this one? Or can you tell us about the creation, how you created it?
Well, this is a single exposure. Yeah, I use the oil paint. I think we talked about this at Texas School a little bit. I like the oil paint filter in Photoshop, but I do it about, I don't know, 15, 20% opacity, really light. And it still holds some good detail, but it gives it a little bit of a softer, dreamy type look.
Cool.
I felt it, I did it on this because I felt there was twigs going everywhere and lots of leaves and debris, and trying to remove it didn't make sense. It's because you have a twig and then something way behind it. So when you tried to clone or patch it, it didn't do a good job. So I chose that technique to try to help soften it, but still maintain some detail.
So is this right here, is this natural ambient light that's highlighting these back here?
Yes. And I toned it. Obviously I toned it. It was more blue. It was more blue than that. But since I put a gel on her hair, I had to make the background look warm too.
I love the richness of it and the green and yellow tones that are throughout. I think it's And the choice of the dress, I mean, it's such I love the royal and rough combination. It's so interesting.
Oh, that would have been a good title.
What is the title?
Viviana, just a name.
I am drawn to her belly a little bit with the light on her torso. I mean, the lighting on her face is beautiful. And this, I'm going to have to start using gels. You're inspiring me to get crazy. Love the rim light along her waist. Look at how it creates that beautiful curve right there and along her arm and right here. But I am a little bit, in fact, competing. Her face is competing with her chest and belly for my opinion.
No, I think that's valid. She was actually in a white dress. She wasn't a bride, but she was in a white ball gown type dress. And the white was, when it was white, it was like really competing. So I had to color her dress.
I love that it's yellow. I think it was an excellent choice, especially with her warm hair.
Yeah, but you know, it's kind of at the limit of pushing it down, toning it down to where you start, you know, it gets really muddy if you tone down the whites. That's why I didn't overexpose it. It was just that it was such a brighter tone. So, but I agree that was one of my concerns is her breast and her tummy area and almost her thigh is catching quite a bit of light from that.
Like right here and this little spot right here.
Yeah.
Her hand looks a little bit clawish to me, but I love the gracefulness of this hand over here and that shadow highlight combination. It makes her arm look so slim. Oh, she's like that curve with her hip to her knee, and I like that a lot.
Thank you.
Virginia?
Yeah, I think it's beautiful. I mean, and I can't, I'm assuming that there is detail up around in the darker areas of the image, which I can't see. That would be my only question, but I'm assuming that that there's the detail there.
It's faint. It's faint, and that's, you can see, Allison, to the right, those like limbs hanging down.
Right here?
Yeah. There was some more of those up in that darker area that I felt were really distracting when I got it. So I did struggle with how much do I bring them down and how much do I, because they were all catching that edge. So I had to remove some of those, but hopefully at the IPC, the detail will be a little greater when they view it, because that was a concern of mine, Virginia, that is so dark up there. So.
Really neat to see your process and to see 3 such different types of images that you submitted, Cris.
I agree.
Thank you. Yeah, this is one that's been kind of sitting there for a while. I'm like, do I want to enter it? I don't know. And I would do the same thing that you and Allison did. Is it too dark? Is her chest too bright? Is the color, and you'd question yourself. And kind of when I was putting my case together, I had a few I knew I wanted to do. Like the waterfall was one. Almost when I photographed that, I knew I wanted to enter that. And a couple others. So this is one of those. I just went back to one of my favorites and said, I really like this image. I'm going to give it a go. So
That's great. Well, good luck and let us know how it goes.
Yes. When is your live comp?
April 1st and 2nd. I'm just hoping they don't pull any like April Fool's stuff and say, Merit, just kidding, April Fools.
Oh, God. That's horrible.
There are rules against that. My daughter just got home. This is my friend Cris. Remember, we met at the conference. And Allison, okay, but you have to be quiet if you're going to stay.
Well, Allison, how did I do on my challenge? Are you gonna grade me?
Oh my goodness. I have to get off. Can I get off of screen share now?
Sure.
Okay. I don't know how to do that. Okay.
You're back.
Oh, I am. Okay, wonderful. Am I getting great, Joe? God. Pass or fail, though, right? Because you've given up the numbering.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, then pass.
Okay, good.
That's easy. Not only do we have to critique, but then I have to come up with a grade. Ah, the pressure.
You did great. You did great, Allison.
All right. Well, thanks for chiming in.
So, that's an interesting process, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe someday I'll actually get to the critique stage of something.
You are.
It's the first night my kids slept for 7 hours, so I'm very excited.
Oh, yay.
Just start posting stuff, Virginia. Don't put so much pressure on yourself either, okay?
I know. It's a time thing. I have to say, I feel like a new person. I'm sorry, I should correct. I slept for 7 hours. My son slept for 12, which is the first time he's ever slept more than, it's the first time I have had more than 4 hours sleep in 6 months. So,
oh my God.
And the 4 hours was 2 nights ago. So I'm feeling like a totally new person. So I'm very optimistic that that I'm going to be able to start checking off the Arcanum thing on my list of things to do. Yeah, baby steps, baby steps.
I don't know. I was stalled out at level 9 for like 2 months probably, wasn't I, Cris?
Yeah, it's been a while. And that reminds me, you do need to go in and mark that you've completed level 10.
Oh, okay.
I went ahead and moved you up, but because I know you've done it, but you haven't checked that you've done it.
Thank you. I forget to go in and update that stuff. The fact that it's 2 places, it's hard to remember.
I know. I think that'll change soon, but
No problem. You can deal with it.
so
Hey.
you don't like being master?
How many times should I post? I haven't even gotten anybody except you to do the quick challenge. So do I give up more stuff? I don't know.
Welcome to the club.
It's hurting cats. Everybody, it's the Lyle Lovett song. She wasn't good, but she had good intentions. Like, we all really are very well intentioned. We're just not getting there.
Well, I can
The thing
understand.
about actually participating is that it does force me. I don't mean force is a strong word, but it strongly encourages me to push myself that I don't do otherwise. So it's just, you're busy and
The idea is it should hold you accountable. That's kind of the idea. So, and it should be a safe place that you feel comfortable posting anything, even if you feel it's subpar. That it's a comfortable group to do that. That you're not gonna. No one's gonna tell you to, quit your job or
like some of the Facebook groups you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it feels, for me, it feels totally safe. I don't feel like I would be lambasted.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I agree.
I posted something really crummy. Or maybe I haven't, nobody said it.
No
Yeah.
chance of that.
Not at all. Not at all.
Oh,
Well,
So-
very cool. I'm glad that I could make it today.
Yes. Good.
And I do hope that I'll be doing more. We'll get there eventually. But I
you're
am.
going to Texas school, right? Or Cris, do you want to stop the recording at this point?
Yeah, I can stop it.
Okay.
Thanks, Allison. Good job.
Thank you. Good work, Cris. We can't wait to hear